Evening. Sorry about that, people. Nothing to do with me. This fucking StreamYard. They set up a new landscape and portrait
Yep.
situation, and they haven't told any of us that they're doing it, and it just causes absolute grief. And I couldn't. It wasn't showing on my show. It was showing on DJs, but I couldn't delete it off YouTube to stop it. It's an absolute. Why do they do these things? Why do anyway? Let's get on with it. Let's get on with it. It has pissed me off because it started the whole show off wrongly now. But anyway, how you doing, Shano? Great show earlier with DJ.
Yeah, all good, all good. Delighted to be here. I had the same issues with StreamYard this morning. I went to start my stream and it was showing on two different things, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. I do have two gifts for Kenny in the background. I have, of course, his favorite Arsenal jersey just there. But I also have Kenny. I know that you love this picture that I love as well. The one of Cruyffy having an old cigarette in the dressing room. The classic photograph of Cruyff having a cigarette. So I've evened it out for you. I've given you two. The one that you hate and one that you love. But no, delighted to be here and looking forward to it. Really looking forward to it. And big up to the wonderful panel and the amazing chat.
Big up to you, mate. Kenny Ken. Sorry about that, mate. That was nothing to do with me.
Don't worry about that. It happens. YouTube will like I saw not YouTube, StreamYard over the years. They have been great, but sometimes they can be have to pull top team. But yeah, I'm looking at those shirts. Obviously, 80 to 83 bad memories, but next to it is the Denmark team 86. There's Holland of 88, I believe. The Republic of Ireland 88. Argentina 86. I believe above Argentina. Is that the West German shirt?
That's the West German, the World Cup 90
semi-final against England.
Yeah, the green
and
because of
night in a 19 around sort of 92, 93. Ian Wright scoring that goal against Anfield, against Liverpool Anfield. Yeah, I noticed, and of course Maradona, better than Messi, and of course Cruyff. A player of generation, two generations.
And then the picture in the middle is just Materazzi and Rui Costa for Inter and AC, just looking at all the fireworks going off. A classic picture.
Iconic. And good
Roma 1990 as well. Roma 1990.
Of course, Roma 1990. But of course, how can we forget that?
Anyway, Mr. Pads, I'm going to star your comment. I'm going to come back to it, all right? Because we will talk about that on that one. And DJ, mate, great show. I voted for you tonight. You got my vote. I thought Shane's shirt was shit. Sorry. Too orange for me, mate. Too orange for me. But DJ, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good. Yeah, just had a quite a busy day as usual, and yeah, looking forward to the show. A bit of a hiccup at the start because it was showing on my channel, so I've got about 6 minutes on my channel that I've got to delete. But yeah, no, I'm glad we finally made it, as they say. But yeah, the retro show went well, and here we are again. So big up to everyone. Always a pleasure to be alongside Kenny and yourself and Shane. So and the chat. Big up to everyone.
Yeah, big up, mate. Yeah, I do apologise, people. Comments I missed before, out of my control.
Yeah,
StreamYard doing this new setup, and you know, I do apologise. But we're going to have a quick chat. I'm going to talk about this all night, right? But this bit of history, I'm going to turn my background off so you can actually see it properly. I first showed this yesterday on Shano's channel. I bought it at auction. It arrived yesterday, and I'm very proud of it. I don't think you'll ever see another one. It is the original flyer for Dial Square, first game for Arsenal, Dial Square, on the 11th December 1886.
Wow.
Against Eastern Wanderers. Arsenal won 6-0. And I got it wrong. In the fact I said that team went on to become Millwall Engineers. In fact, that's factually incorrect. It was actually, they went on to become, and correct me, well, I'm reading this out of an Arsenal journal, that they actually went on to become, and I've lost it now. Oh, fucking hell. It's going well tonight, isn't it? It's going really well tonight. They went on to become, where's it gone? Millwall Rovers. Millwall Rovers. The engineers team was actually Erith. And so, yeah, there you go. We can all get it wrong at times. Now, Shano, having done a bit of research today, Arsenal were formed on the 4th of October 1886 in the Prince of Wales pub, Plumstead Common, which they went and eventually played there. But they only kept that name of Dial Square for literally 3 weeks. Their first game, 11th of December, they then changed it to Royal Arsenal. They never had a crest, as in Dial. They never had a crest. So it's a bit of a bizarre setup, really, because David Danskin, club captain, had played before at a semi-professional level. But tell me what you think about it, mate, really. Don't get me wrong, it's for hours, but...
Yeah, no, look, Jez, I was privileged that you came on my show to show me. It was just, it blew my mind, and we were both just, I was thrilled, even though it's your memorabilia. I was thrilled just to be looking at it. I got excited. I thought it was amazing. I just think it's such a beautiful piece of history, and it's just, it kind of just sums up the fact, that the real fans are over here, that you went to so much trouble for it, that I was even privileged just to have it on my show, and it's a beautiful thing. And Arsenal, like all clubs, have evolved over the years. They've become what they are. I think we're going in a different direction now. We're like every club, really, down the media route and stuff like that. But people forget how proud a club we are. Obviously we didn't get the white sleeves and stuff like that until a lot later. And we just have, when you find something like that, it brings it back how, number one, how old the club is, how proud they are. And it's just a beautiful piece of memorabilia. It took my breath away when I saw it. I just thought, it's unbelievable. And it's from that time, and it's not a replica. It's literally from that time, and someone was there watching those first games, and it's an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing, and it's very humbling to see stuff like that, just to remember everything that came before us. Sometimes we can sort of fall into the trap of thinking that well, we don't. We're quite we love our history. That of thinking that the club sort of began when you started following them, but it blew my mind to see it, and it will every time. And most of all, I was happy for you, Jez. I was very happy for you. I saw how happy it made you, and it's those things in life that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. And I just think it couldn't have gone to a better man, to be honest with you, Jez. It couldn't have gone to a better man than yourself. I'm glad it went to someone that bleeds Arsenal. And just very happy for you, really.
Yeah, I mean, I it was a big gamble getting it, but there's no way I was going to let that not go. I was going to have it. I was going to have it. I mean, obviously, if it went, I mean, I'm not a millionaire. I mean, if it was going to go stupid, and of course, and that's never going to happen. But Kenny, bit of a weird thing, wasn't it? Really, that Arsenal. Well, we'll call them Arsenal because it's conflicting. But Dial Square set themselves up out of that cricket club, right, and then played their first game on that game there. I'll show it again just to make sure to remind everybody. There it is. On the Isle of Dogs, right, 11th of December, 1866, against Eastern Wanderers. Dial Square won 6-0, but changed their name within literally 3 weeks of having been. Well, no, that's not true. After their first game, they changed their name within 3 weeks to Royal Arsenal.
Yeah, so something big, Isle of Dogs. That is when you look at the Isle of Dogs, that's where originally Millwall originated from.
Yeah, it's right. Yeah.
Millwall's not a South East London club. The real East End club, when you think about the Bow Bells, is actually Millwall, not West Ham. West Ham are more towards like what was called Essex and more towards, like Newham sides. And obviously, Bowling Road and, Anne Boleyn around E13, but they're not. That's why I can see where you come from in terms of the Millwall, because when we talk about our origins in South East London, well, no, our origins, from what you just showed, are actually in East End. The Isle of Dogs is in E14. Our first game, if we go to the area today, is in E14, and then then we move to South East London. So you think about it, we've got a big, massive South London branch because of the fact we were originally from Greenwich. Well, that's not the case. We're an East End club originally.
We are.
Yeah, we are.
We're there probably just as long as, if not slightly before, Millwall and West, and obviously, and so it's quite apt that you got this. You got the first game memorabilia, and the first game was on the Isle of Dogs. And, that is something
that's what rolls Tottenham fans up.
That's going to be quite a trick question for any future quiz. I hope everyone who participates in these quizzes remembers that. Arsenal are not a South East London club. We're an East End club.
Very true.
Isle of Dogs. I've actually, my family. I've got family from the East End, on the mum's side, and we used to obviously. They lived in all parts of the East End. Obviously, they lived in Stepney, Cable Street. Obviously, somewhere a lot of you guys would know. And they're not too far from Commercial Road Market on a Sunday. Not you used to go there in the late 70s and early, and just in 1980, packed. And then obviously, but then she moved to like Limehouse, and then she moved to like Manchester Road. And if you go get the buses just from Limehouse to Manchester Road, you actually pass the original area where Millwall was first originated. But I now know, as of today, I actually passed the original area where we were created.
Yeah, I mean, if you think our original ground at Plumstead was not far from West Ham.
No.
Really?
Yeah, even Plumstead, that comes under Greenwich, the depths of Greenwich. But Isle of Dogs, that's in the East End. That is banging East End, E14. Yeah. Get the bus. You can either get any of the buses, D6, from like D6 or D7 goes past there.
Yeah,
mostly D6.
I mean, I don't know the East End as well as you, Kenny.
Spent a lot of my youth in the East End, Canning Town, and all around there.
Well, yeah.
But your East Enders talk to say you're ours.
Roman Road.
Tamlets, they're like the real East End, isn't it? Bomley by Bow, Bethnal Green, just about, because we get some part of it's Hackney, Stepney, Limehouse, those areas.
I know Bethnal Green quite well. But
Bethnal Green, East End, Upton Park, all around there,
that's new.
Jez, where did you buy that from? I bought it from an auction, mate. Very, 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 very well-known auction house in London. It was a sports memorabilia auction, and I'm a member online of their auction house, and you get notifications. I'm a member of 10 auction houses for sports memorabilia. You get notifications when their stuff's coming up, and I just trawled through it, and I actually missed it first time round. And then I suddenly saw this thing again, Dial Square. I thought, and I was like, hang on. And that's when I decided I'm going for this. It has been authenticated. It has got provenance from the family that owned it for nearly 100 years.
Fantastic.
It has got the provenance being certified by the auction house as well, that it's the correct paper, the correct print. It is dirty, unfortunately, because the lady that said that her grandfather owned it was a very, very heavy pipe smoker. And unfortunately, over the years, it's tarnished it. But it's 139 years old, so you're going to expect that. But DJB, mate, 1886, Arsenal formed the club. David Danskin, bit of a wrong un, let's be honest, and went on to play their first 6 games, then changed their name very quickly to Royal Arsenal. I think more people would probably recognise the name Royal Arsenal than Dial Square. Of course, we know after that, mate, we went on to become Woolwich Arsenal when we played at Plumstead Common, the Manor Ground. So, bit of a weird period for that, wasn't it? Very short start from a cricket club.
Yeah.
To going on in 1887 to win the Kent Cup. But
I know, crazy, isn't it? I mean, what history! I mean, the first club in London to be turned professional was Arsenal, and they got the name Dial Square all because of a sundial that used to be clearly visible on the factory workers as they went in. There was a sundial, and it was on a square plaque, and that's where they got the name Dial Square. And funny enough, Dial Square are still going.
They are
During the COVID period, 2020. I can't remember. Someone called Dankin or Darkin got the club going, and they play in one of the local leagues, and they actually play in the burgundy kit.
Sure. Yeah, they do,
sure. Yeah, they play in the Guildford and Woking Alliance League, apparently, Dial Square. And so there is a kind of spin-off all these years later, still going, which is quite incredible, really. But it's very ironic, isn't it? Because we kind of, when the Spurs fans and our rivals, and when you think about it, if you look back through history, Tottenham are not our actual rivals. They're not our actual neighbours. Our actual neighbours should be Millwall. If you go back in history, and Spurs rightly so mock us to say that you wasn't a proper North London club, a bit like City and Man United. They say that the City are the real Manchester club.
Well, they weren't even. They were a Middlesex club.
And well, exactly. But they turn around and say we were even further away. But there you go. But no, it's amazing history, really. I mean, one of the oldest clubs in the Football League still to this day, along with Notts County. It's an amazing bit of memorabilia that you've got there, Jez, because something like that don't come around very often. So yeah, incredible. But
I actually wonder, mate, whether you'll ever see another one, because I actually did, guys, and chat. I told Lee knew about it. Lee knew about it. He knew I'd put a couple of bids in, and I'm not going to bore you the story of the bidding, but he said to me off camera the other night when we did a late night show, he said, "Did you get that thing?" And I said, "Yes." He said, "I knew you would." He said, "You had that smirky little smile." He said, I knew you were going to get it. And I said, "Well, it's a gamble." But the thing is, I actually did say I might offer it on loan to Arsenal Football Club Museum.
Yeah.
Right. And I thought, I'll get it framed. I am going to get it.
Appreciate it.
I'm going to get it framed professionally. But then I thought, no, stuff them. Because I did offer before COVID 7 years ago to do a history thingy bob channel, and they responded by basically saying that it's irrelevant. It was no, that's not right. That's not right. They said it's not relevant. So I said, stuff you then. And I spoke to the wife about it when I got it, and she said, "No, tell them to sod off." Why? They've done nothing for you. So why would you do something for them? But hey, there you go. And it is what it is. Mr. Pad says Dial Square also have a cool sundial on their logo. Yeah, They have. I've looked at their website. The football team currently with a small cannon pointing the right way.
Pointing the right way. That's the key, isn't it? That's the key.
Right, like the Arsenal gate as well. The Foundry gate had the cannon facing from, how do you want to put it, east to west. That's how it used to be. Anyway, that's that. Let's move this on, because I've got other things that I want to mention, right, which I think are quite pertinent. We can debate about it, whatever you like. So the first thing I'm going to talk about here, right, is a chap. Kenny knows him. Positive Dan, or as I called him, Precious Dan, called out Shane and me from Shane's Bruised Banana show, who said, we don't deserve to wear the shirt with the badge. Fucking fair enough, Mr. Precious Dan. You said you've been supporting Arsenal since 2004. You were 14. Right? I've been supporting this club since 1967. So how dare you have the audacity to call me out, Shane out, and other people that have supported this club for so long? Now, the other thing is, Shane, before I come to you on this one, right? I asked this absolute melt, right? I sent him a little message on his channel, right? And I said, would you like to join me on a show? His reply was, sure. I replied, and I said, well, let me know your availability. He sent back a hearted comment, just a heart. After the result at the weekend, drawing 2-2 at Sunderland, I then sent a message to him. Who the fuck got the tactics wrong today then? Now, this was in reply to his comment that Shane and I said Arteta gets the tactics ineptly wrong. Arteta is inept in tactics. He's never replied. I wonder why. Because he would not have a chance to debate that point. Because at the end of the day, Shane, and I'm going to ask Kenny and then come to DJ, he got it wrong. But Shane, please, first of all, talk about what that idiot said, right?
Yeah.
Right, and then tell me who got the tactics wrong at the weekend.
Yeah, well, the thing is, Jez, that I got a message to say that he was going for me. I didn't even know who he was. He had been in the chat that day. I didn't know. And he was doing the whole lol thing, no matter what we said. I just thought it was a kid. If I'm being honest with you, I thought it was a child because of the way it was being worded. I thought it was just some teenager. So I just booted whoever it was. I didn't know it was him. If I'm being honest with you, I didn't know it was him. Someone said, oh, he's going for you and Jez and blah, blah, blah. And I clicked on it. And I knew straight away. I saw what it was. It's the same thing. It's they can't separate Arteta from Arsenal. They can't separate Arteta from Arsenal. So when they're saying, oh, look, it's disgusting, we're disgraced for what we were saying about Arteta, not about the club, about Arteta, we don't have to like this manager. We can love the club and not like the manager. I've worked in kitchens back in the day when I was younger, where I loved working for the owners and I loved the idea of the restaurant, and I hated the head chef. You know what I mean? That's just the way it is. I love Arsenal. The manager comes and goes. You know what I mean? I had issues with Wenger. I loved him, but I knew that he wasn't bigger than the club. So they can't separate it. That's the problem with them. They're not able to separate someone disliking the manager from someone loving the club. So they think if you don't like the manager, you love the club. That's why you get all this, oh, well, you know, you have to get behind everything. No, I don't. I don't have to do anything I don't want to do. And I am behind the club. Do they really think that we go into matches and go, oh, God, I hope Arsenal lose today? And I've had that said to me, you want Arsenal to lose. And it's insulting when, like you said, you know, at 86, I started following this club. It's not close to what you did, but I've given a lot of my time. I've given it a lot. And most of all, I've given a lot of my heart because you lose sleep. I've said it before. I've vomited over this club. I've cried of everything you can think of. It's ruined my day. It's ruined my week. Anybody who knows me wouldn't question how much I love this club. If I don't like the manager, that's all. That's just the way it is. Did they think that I was jumping around when Sunderland scored? No, I was cursing and blinding because I could see it coming. Because why? Because this manager's tactically inept. He got that whole match wrong. And in the other matches where we were winning, he was taking the same risks. He just got away with it. He locked up against Crystal Palace. He put 5 at the back against Crystal Palace. He is tactically inept. He has been his whole time. You know, how many times has he proven that to us? When he's blown it against PSG, when he's blown it against Villa at home in 23-24, when he's blown it against, you know, over and over again, he's done it. So this guy wants the traction. He's made a decision from the very start. He's going to be on AFTV. He's going to do all of this stuff. So I just kind of dismissive of it, if I'm being honest with you, because they're all the same to me. You know, there's not one of them from that side that are online that I kind of think, well, that guy knows his stuff. You know what I mean? There's not one of them that I'd go, oh, wow, like his football knowledge is crazy. They're always sort of the same reactionary, records this and most goals in the calendar year that, and oh, look where he took us from. And, you know, we had one in, Charles is actually all right, a guy that comes into ours. He's persistent with his Top Gooner opinions. Yeah. But when we said, right, tell us why Arteta is great, but don't use look where he took us from and the usuals, he didn't have a clue. He couldn't explain it, right? Because once you take away the little few buzzwords or buzz sayings that they have, they lose their argument. But to me, look, it's the same thing when someone goes for one of your mates and you can take it for yourself. I know I'm a big boy. I know you're a big boy. I was just more pissed that I'm going for you than I was for me, because for the sheer fact of what you've given to this club, how much you love the club. And it's just such a lazy throwaway comment to say, oh, they're a disgrace. They don't deserve to wear the badge. I mean, if someone said that about the likes of Igal, I'd agree. I'd go, fair enough. He knows nothing, you know, leave him to his own. But when it comes to that sort of thing, it's craziness. It's craziness, but it's to be expected because it's a game to these guys. He's made a decision when he started this channel, just by the way he's picked his name. You know that he has a mission to get to a certain point. And for me, when you make that decision and when you do your channel for no other reason than to make it somewhere, you slip over from being a fan to being a content creator. Where I will never ever change my opinions. I've had my opinions changed on certain things. I used to think that Wenger was a better Arsenal manager than George Graham, and yourself and Kenny Ken and DJB changed my mind one stream when you laid it out and said, look at the amount of time, the amount of money. I went, you know what? When you think about an Arsenal manager, George Graham probably is better. I had my mind changed on that, but I'll be strong on my opinions on this club. My channel will always be the same. You know, you'll get what you see is what you get. I'll never be fake. I think is what I'm trying to get at. Where these guys that have a mission to grow their channel for those reasons, you move over into the realm of content creator and you lose a little bit of fan for me. But yeah, look, each of their own, all of that. But to come out and say that about someone like you is just, it's a nonsense, really. It doesn't even really deserve to be. It's a nonsense. But yeah, and to finish off on who was tactically inept, we all know Arteta is, and he proved it without a shadow of a doubt against Sunderland when he should have put his foot in their neck at 2-1. He locked up, he threw it away, and now the momentum is back with the Blue Shark, and they're going to hunt us down.
Facts, Kenny. You know this guy.
Yes, I've been a couple of podcasts and I've met him once. He's all right. Yeah, the fact is, the fact, but I've said it on podcasts he's on, and I say it before. The only thing I've got in common, we've all got in common with each other, and Dane, Gunners Therapy, is that when we go to a cup final or a semi-final, or albeit, let's just say, let's cut the waffle I just came out with, a mutual ground, we all sit in the same Arsenal win. That's all we've got in common. Anything else is up to us. How much we got in our bank account is individual. How we support the club is individual. I don't pay for his season ticket. He don't pay for mine. You cannot say in one word, oh, we should all get together, blah, blah. And then when someone has a different opinion than you, you start saying that they're fake fans and not part of it. I know what he's saying. He's saying that there's an agenda. I'm sure I didn't watch the show, but I've spoken to him, on Dan's show, and we didn't get to talk that much individually, but I can just imagine where his angle was. That people, the Rat Army, were waiting for Arsenal to drop points so they can make it about Arteta, And I think that's where he was going. Well, first and foremost, that's up to you if you want to go down that road. And it's lazy. And I've said that in his presence. I've said that. I'm sure I said that to him and he goes, it's lazy. It's not about Arteta. It's about the game itself. The game itself was that where I was critical of Arteta, I also played devil's advocate. He didn't bring on attacking substitutions because when he had his bench against Newcastle, he had attacking options and experience options. So he had to bring them on. The game was done. The game, we had to win that game because we wanted to put pressure at the time. Liverpool. He didn't have those options against Sunderland, but even so, he still had attacking options. He had even then where he's got a lot of experience, and so is Max Damon. I think criticism was justified because he was negative. He was more worried, i.e., in playing Max Damon, i.e., he'd taken Slater off, about what Sunderland were doing. That Sunderland were going to probably overload and target Max Damon as a weakness because of his experience, because of his, first and foremost, he's an attacker. And at 15, I don't care what anyone says, you've not got a football brain. You haven't got the football brain. You got you need to be told where to go. You develop that as you get older. So he didn't bring him on because it was a safety first message thing. Because he was more concerned about him being overrun on that side. Ifeanyi, he saw what was happening to Zubimendi, he saw what happened to the ball players, and he bottled that substitution. That's not digging him out. It's just a fact. Sunderland were getting their faces, they were pressing us, and they were getting bodies forward. So he's thinking about, right, Max Damon, I know what he can do going forward, but I'm not sure if he gets time, is he going to be able to see the runners coming past him, and is he going to be able to sort of like get in that little space where, you know, he can provide the overloads. He wasn't taking that risk. And then you look at the situation with Ifeanyi. We saw what happened to Zubimendi, how he got overrun, how he was, because someone would get so many bodies forward, he didn't know who to pick up. So if an experienced player's doing that, well, Ranieri, he's not going to trust Ranieri to do, is he? Especially when Eze. So he did protect that. But guess what? In doing that, it invited pressure on us, and it made us sit in that goal line. Sunderland didn't do what a lot of teams do, where they just think, right, you know, let's not get enough bodies forward. Let's just play intricately. They were direct. They mixed it up. They did try playing intricate passing football, but then they relied on the set pieces. They got crosses in and bodies forward, and we weren't able to cope. But a lot of that was, as you guys rightly said, sitting your goal line and inviting pressure. That allowed Sunderland back in the game. So you have every right to criticise that position. And I've said, I agree with you, but I know why he'd done it. I'm not praising Arteta for.
Sorry, Kenny, but when we're talking about Ethan not knowing to track the runners, if Arteta's this world class coach, surely he should be able to trust these players by now. It's only when he signs players that have it in them that he's able to do it. And also, if you look at the tired legs at the end of that game, he played all five of Saka, Rice, and the three lads at the back against Prague when he didn't need to. So, you know what I mean? These are all down to him. Every bit of it's down to him.
But you know it is, Shane. The bottom line is, you could talk. I've said it many a time before the season started, and I'm going to continue to say it. You can talk about this being an elite squad, and we all believe that. You can talk about it have been, in terms of in quantity. There's a quantity and quality. So there's quantity and quality. You can know it. But if your manager's got a situation where he still believes in the spine, then that's not going to change. We know Declan's running empty, but he still needs Declan out there to cover those runs. Despite because he's half-fit Declan Rice is better than any player on that bench coming on. The same with Saka. His whole spine. So the defenders, Timber, that's his spine. As much because even though we know that there isn't a quality gap between Timber and the next man, in his mind, quality-wise there isn't. Tactically, he is. So that's what we saw on Saturday, is that tactically he couldn't trust our attacking players. But because he couldn't trust those attacking players, we were inviting pressure, and that's what killed us. And then we could have nicked at the end. He nearly got away with one, because Calafiori did his job. He would have got away with that.
Yeah.
But you're criticising the manager because it is clear. It's clear as to me that it was a negative substitution because he didn't trust his bench.
Yeah.
True.
But even before the sub, Ken, as soon as they scored, he locked up. He just didn't do it by bringing on a defender. As soon as they scored, we didn't go into their half again, really, from 76 minutes on. You know what I mean? So he made the decision to lock up long before that. And he does that all the time. It's why we threw away 12 leads last season. So if he's not learning how to coach players, how to finish a team off, when is he ever going to learn? I don't get it. Why we're meant to stand by and wait for him to learn how to rotate. But
look, you can know what to do. You can have the personnel. But if you still, just because you can coach the players and make them better players, if you don't trust them, and don't trust certain players, then that game showed me, especially when he brought in the substitution, he didn't bring on the attackers, is that he don't trust certain players. So he's not going to take a risk. We're winning. We're 7 points ahead. And you know what? Some managers, whether we like or not, Wenger would have gone for it. You know what I mean? George Graham would have shut shop. Arteta would have shut shop. Emery would have shut shop. That Arteta is no different from any other manager. The negative gene in them outshines the attacking gene, and it did on Saturday.
It does, absolutely. I'll just read a couple of these comments out, DJ, and I'm going to come straight to you. I want to get your opinion on this. Mr. Pat says there's no justification whatsoever for Arteta making one substitution. Journalists should have grilled him on that. If he hooked a few of the tired players, we would have probably won. Possibly. Paul Nash says he's a prick like the rest of them. I think you're referring to Precious on that one. But I've been told I'm a fake fan because I don't rate weak Odegaard. And that's a point that we're going to come to in a bit. Personally, I've got a problem there. I've got a problem there right now. Big up, Paul Nash. DJB, mate. DJB, right? This fella, we don't need to harp on it, right? But these people that call it out. Now, I don't mind getting called out, DJ.
No, not a problem.
I'm happy with that. I ain't got a problem with it. But when they ain't got the fucking two pairs of balls, right? As Kenny would say, put your nuts on the table and let's go toe to toe, right? If you want to call me out, then have the bullshit. Have the bollocks to actually come and have a man-to-man debate. Now, that's why I have a problem with people. He's got his opinion about me. I've got my opinion about him. But if you're going to do it, right, don't be a little pussy and go and hide in the corner, right? Because I asked you, Mr. Precious Dan, after that Sunderland game, let's have a talk about who got the tactics wrong. DJ, the floor is yours.
Well, the problem is he's like a lot of modern day Arsenal fan. They can't differentiate between talking about what's gone on the football pitch and Mikel Arteta.
Excellent.
So they think that everything you say about the tactics and the football side of things, straight away they go on the defensive and think you're digging out the manager. And the fact that everything is linked to the manager, because I've said this time and time and time again, when them players cross that white line, it's not about the medical staff, it's not about the coaches, it's not about Heinze, it's the manager's responsibility to get the job done, right? And what they can't understand is they can't differentiate that. Now, I spoke to this guy backstage last time I was on Dan Potts' show, right? And he came across an all right guy. And one of the questions I asked him, I said, can you just give me one? I said, just answer me this. What is it about this manager that's so different about all the other managers? And what are you actually scared of if he moves on? And his answer was this: I like his personality. I like his charisma. I like the way he's galvanised all the fans. I like the way he conducts himself in press conferences. Right? Nothing about what he does tactically. Nothing about his coaching. All about what he is personally. Now, that is when it gets worrying. That's the difference between us having an opinion about a football manager and praising when it's all going good and picking out problems when it's all going bad. This is the difference between these fans. There are fans, whether they like it or not, and they don't like being called out on it, because what it does, they've got a chip on their shoulder. And what it does, it aggravates that chip, right? When you say it's nothing about Arsenal, you're actually infatuated about the manager. They then start going all defensive and they start getting wild. And the bottom line is, they are. He epitomises the modern day football fan, Mikel Arteta.
Mm-hmm.
How he dresses, how he looks, how he comes across, his PR, everything. He's all about the modern day fan with the TikTok and everything that's going on in the world at the moment. Mikel Arteta is like a poster boy for all of that, right? And this is what they can't get their head around. And what he is, they're proud of him to be at Arsenal Football Club, because then it catapults the football club in this modern era, and it makes Arsenal look good, and they've got fans all over the world and everything else. So when you start breaking it down tactically, and when you start talking about the football side of things, oh, he should have done this, and he should have done that, and he should have done this, they go, why are you digging out Mikel Arteta again? I've not mentioned Mikel Arteta. I said that he should have crossed it instead of passed it, for example. Mm-hmm. But getting back to that game against Sunderland, Jez, whether he trusts his bench or not, when you are constantly being told and they're constantly ramming down your throat, best team in the world, the best squad depth in Europe, one of the top 5 managers in the world, then why aren't you trusting your bench? If you've got all this squad depth that's the best in Europe and these fans are putting them there on the pedestal, why aren't you trusting them? Why aren't you bringing them on? If you are man enough to put people and put people in a position with a higher claim, then you've got to be man enough to take the criticism. And if you can't take the criticism, don't criticise someone else just because they've got a different opinion. That's my view. And the bottom line is, right, is we all know against Sunderland, he should have made more than one substitution. He had in Capia, he could have bought on an extra defense. He could have bought on an extra midfield player. He could have packed out the midfield. He could have bought on Norgard if he didn't trust Wanyeri or Dowman. He could have bought on Norgard, Premier League experience. This is what we've been told. Premier League proven.
Yeah, that's what he was bought for. Exactly that, wasn't it?
That's what he was bought for. That's what he was bought for. I've been constantly being told as well, this side will never be bullied again. This team won't be bullied. This team won't be out-muscled. We will never go to places like Brentford away and all that and be bullied. We've moved on from that. No team's going to bully us. Hello? We was bullied in Sunderland in large parts of the game.
Yeah.
Gabriel looked like a smurf up against that attacker that equalised. And as for Zubimendi, he looks like a schoolboy in a men's league, playing in a number 6. Bullied all over the place. Off the ball, everything. And as I said to you before, these are the things that we've been seeing season in and season out. What happened at Sunderland, we've witnessed in the past. We've seen at Brentford. We've seen at places like Bournemouth. We've seen when we've gone away to Aston Villa and places like. We've seen it all before. This is nothing new. But when you mention it, you get the person like you've just said that you had a problem with. Yeah,
I ain't got a problem with him.
no, but they don't want to look at what I'm saying is, Jez, they don't want to look at all of that. They only want to look at everything's, lovely little daffodils and beaches and cocktails and everything rosy and everything fun. They don't want to get into the real nitty gritty. Now, if we all win the league and everything's fine. We'll all be happy. But the problem I've got now as well, it's turned into a kind of, when Arsenal are winning and doing well, they come straight into a stream as if to say, I told you so. Let's talk
I've heard from them since Saturday.
Let's talk about football.
Any of them.
Yeah, but the differences between us as a panel, we will still show our face, win, lose or draw.
Ooh.
Yeah.
They tend to go quiet when things are not going well.
But do you know what it is, DJ? Do you know what it is that gets to me? Sorry.
Sorry, mate. I'll just land on this.
Yeah.
My biggest worry is that they've put Arteta bigger than the football club.
Yeah.
That is my biggest problem, and that's the crux of all of this. Arteta is bigger than Arsenal Football Club in their eyes. They can't see any other way. There's no player that's bigger than Arteta. There's no fan better than Arteta. They look at it that Arteta is Arsenal. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That is it. And it's an absolute dangerous road to go down. And I keep saying it. If he doesn't win substantial silverware this season, he's gone. So get used to it. There will be someone else at this football club.
But you know what it is, DJ, as well. Sorry to cut across. The stuff that we do say that we're worried about, we've said it in the summer, we've said it through the things that he hasn't learned. What they do then is they get in your face. Like we had the European game away to a team that hasn't won in 18 years. Now, this really wound your man up during his stream. Oh, what are they saying about him playing, Saka and Rice and Timber and Saliba and Gabriel in that game? It was a big game. It was an important game. They were saying that Prague haven't won a game in 18 years, which is true in the Champions League. And I get his point that, they haven't played in it every year. But this is the thing that they don't seem to get. If you turn around like I did before that game and say, if he plays all five of them, I swear to God, I'll be furious. And I was furious he played all five of them. They will turn around at the end of the game and go, see, nobody got injured. Right, but my point is that the next game against Sunderland, against a physical team that we know are pacey, we know they're strong, we know they're going to put it up you. That come the end of the game, your important players will be knackered. And Gabriel, his attempt to block that second goal was a tired attempt at blocking the goal. A fresh Gabriel doesn't make that mistake. No. So when we're saying these things, these are things that we see. I pointed out a Pep Guardiola had a game against Liverpool. Reinders wasn't fully fit, so he didn't play him. He risked not playing Reinders. He didn't force Rodri back. No, he played with who was ready. He made subs. He took Doku off when he was ripping the team apart. And I've said this before. I was watching that game with my missus, who's a massive Arsenal fan. And when Doku broke for the third goal and 6 or 7 players went with him, they all sprinted up forward with him on the break. She said really angrily and sarcastically, why don't they just lock it up? Why doesn't Pep just lock up like we do? Because he went for the kill, because he knows what he's doing.
I mean, everything you said there is facts. But the thing is, right, me and Kenny will go on other streams like Dan's and whatever, and Jez and you will all go on other streams and stuff like that. We don't say to them, just because they disagree with us, you're not a proper Arsenal fan. But they'll say it to us when Kenny's got thousands of games under his belt and I've got thousands of games under our belt. They'll quite happily say it to us, and Jez and all of that. They'll quite happily say it to us, but we don't go on there and say, just because you don't agree with me, you're not a proper Arsenal fan. You're not fit to wear the shirt and everything else. I've never said that to anyone, just because they don't agree with me. I've always said that we're all Arsenal fans together. We just happen to have a different opinion. I've always said from day one that managers in modern day football have a shelf life. And I believe that shelf life is around about 6-7 seasons. And if you haven't won anything in that 6 or 7 seasons at a big club like Arsenal, and I'm talking Premiership and Champions League, then it's time to move on. It's time for a change.
Unforgivable.
I think gone is your modern day man, is your old school manager now, where they stay at football clubs for 10, 15, 20 years. That's gone now, right? I always believe that managers nowadays have a shelf life. And I honestly believe that this season should have been a change of management at Arsenal Football Club with the money that got invested. That's nothing against Mikel Arteta and what he's done in the past. That's just me saying that's what I would have liked for my football club.
Yeah. Quite right.
Now you mention that, and someone will come back to me and say you're not fit to wear the shirt. It's outrageous.
Yeah.
But the thing, the ridiculous thing is, right? Years ago, people were crying at the Emirates about Wenger, crying about it, fighting about it, and all we get now, right, is love, love, love. But let's move this on. God, if I can, I don't know what StreamYard's doing tonight. It's having a mare. It really is having a fucking mare tonight. I'll try and share this screen if I can. It's good. It's just piss arsing about here. What are you doing? What are you doing?
One sec.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Right, can we see that?
I'll be back in a sec. So I'm sorry, mate.
Looking at this, looking at the fixtures coming up, right? International break at the moment, right? And then we've got 23rd of November, 4:30, Kenny. You'll be at the game and DJB. And then on the 26th, we've got Bayern Munich at home. 4 days later, we've got Chelsea away at Arsenal, right? 4 days later, we've got Arsenal Brentford. Then we got a little gap of 5 days to Aston Villa Arsenal. Then we got Club Brugge, who are no mugs. Let's put it that way. No mugs, right? They drew with Barcelona. And then we got 3 days later, Arsenal Wolves. Now, let's be honest, we should actually stuff it, right? And then we got a little few days there, got Everton Arsenal. 2 days later, we've got the quarterfinals of the League Cup, Arsenal Palace. 4 days later, we got Arsenal Brighton in the Premier League. 3 days later, we've got Arsenal Aston Villa. 4 days later, we've got Bournemouth Arsenal. That is one hell of a run of fixtures. Shane, do you reckon how many games out of that lot are we going to win them all?
No, not a chance. Not a chance. And the thing is, I'm with Kenny. Kenny made a point on Lee's when you were doing the Rat Army stream that, you know, if City go and beat Newcastle away, Newcastle's away form has been terrible, but their home form has been really, really good, and it's a tough ground to go to. If City go there and win, it's right back. I know I had City from the start, and I still think that they'll win it. I 100% think they'll win it. But if they go there, it'll just prove to everybody. So if you then look at the North London derby, it could change the complexion of it. If they've already won and they're suddenly a point behind, we know what this guy's like under pressure. We know what this manager is like under pressure. He's not great with pressure. He'll make some silly decision. And when you look at all the days, the little 2, 3 days, 4 days in between games, Jez, we look at what he's already done by running these guys into the ground. He's run the same 11 basically into the ground. People talk about squad depth. We told them in the summer, you could sign him 30 new players. He will basically play the same first 11 whenever he can, you know. So where Pep is already rotating, like a top manager does, you rotate from the first game onwards, he's going to have it. It's no coincidence that apart from his first season at City and last season, if you count all his Barcelona years, all his Bayern years, all his Man City years, apart from those two, so let's say 14 seasons, whatever it is, or 15 altogether, maybe it's more, he has always had a big run after Christmas. And it's not a coincidence that he has always had a big run after Christmas. It's because his players have been rested so much, because he always has a big size squad. They've been rested, and then they're raring to go. We don't rest, and we burn out after Christmas every single time, or under this manager. So when I look at those fixtures, Chelsea away is going to be really, really tough. Tottenham at home, you'd expect us to do them. But strangely, typical Spursy, their away form's better than their home form. It's a big game. It's Thomas Frank's first game. Everton away, our first time going to the stadium. Have you seen the size of their technical area as well? It's tiny. Arteta won't like that. He likes to be up and down the pitch. But I think that City will be ahead of us come Christmas. I really do. I don't know why people are sleeping on City. They're not now, but I don't know why they were. I was looking at their bench against Liverpool, Oscar Bob, and they had. You look at all the players that they had. They had Reinders on the bench. The only thing that I think that we have stronger is the defense. I think their midfield's better. I think Foden's hitting form. He's an ex-player of the year. I think Doku's hitting form. Haaland's the best finisher in the world. I mean, we're playing Marino up front. It just, to me, for them to be written out as having a poor squad was crazy to me. Gonzalez is finally settled now. He looks like the proper number 6. They have Rodri to come back. Whether he comes back to anything close to what he was, I don't really know. It was a serious injury. And then defensively, people were questioning them defensively. They've kept a lot of clean sheets. They've only let in 3 less goals than us in the league. And we're meant to have the best defense in the world. So I look at those fixtures and I think he will be found out mainly because of the lack of rotation and the lack of balls that we've seen before. And Jez, if we lose Royce, which could easily happen, we'll fall apart. We will absolutely fall apart. And even if he doesn't get officially injured, by the time December's over, he's already running on fumes. He can't keep going. He's human. So I do think that we will. I don't think we'll have a crash Liverpool style. I don't think we'll lose 4 or 5 in a row. I think we're too solid a team for that. I think the defense is too good. But I do think we'll have a couple of little patchy periods where we draw 2 or we lose 1 and draw 1. And they'll be speckled throughout that run. And City will claw us back quicker than people think. And if City get ahead of us, we're not catching them because we were. I'll finish on this. We were going through the best managers of all time on my stream, and DJB, who knows his football, he had Pep in his top 3 of all time. So they have, in a lot of people's opinions, one of the best managers of all time, and there's a reason. He knows how to win leagues. He's rotated so far, and this manager hasn't learned. We have Semi saying, "Oh, maybe one day he'll learn how to rotate." I mean, I don't have time for that. How has he not learned it already? So I think that the main reason will be his cowardly tactics and his lack of rotation is going to come back and bite us because we're already hearing the injuries excuses, Jez, and that I refuse to let that be an excuse when he is causing these injuries through fatigue, through making the players cover too much ground, through driving Gyökeres into the ground with making them track back and stuff like that. So I foresee us losing top spot a lot sooner than people think, and I think those fixtures there, They don't look good. And I promise you one thing, and I'll finish on this. When City look at their fixtures, I bet you they believe they'll win most of them. I bet you their fans believe they'll win most of them. Even their most negative fans will go, "No, we should win that." And you look in their players' eyes, man. I think they've got the eye of the tiger. I just see them clawing us back. And if they get ahead of us, I think that's it.
Now, that's an interesting point, because that's one of the things I was going to ask Kenny here right now. Kenny, you saw that fixture list. And apparently... the Everton game's been moved.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
So we've got a bit of a break, but it's a very congested fixture list, mate.
You need to extend that. You need to extend that to the 21st of March. Forget about you've done a few weeks. You need to go further. Well, we get to the League Cup final, or we get into the quarterfinal. We're drawn in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup up until 21st of March, and then we're in the last 16 of the Champions League. That's a stretch. That is a tyrannic fixture list. There is no rest whatsoever.
So injuries, Kenny. Injuries, tough time of the year.
Oh, injuries will occur because we're running empty. Because again, as we know, the spine will play because. He's not. Our new players haven't shown that they're part of the squad. The only person who's going to, one of our new signings is going to be playing in every game, every big game, is going to be Zubimendi. All the rest of them have to fight for their place and have to fight to impress the manager. So you're going to find that there are going to be members of our personnel who are going to be running on empty because That's the nature of the beast. And it's not just going to be Arsenal, so every club's going to have that. The thing with City is an interesting one. They're an interesting team. The 2 times this season when we've had games, obviously Arsenal will take care of itself, but games where normally when they won the league, they'll go there against tricky teams and win. They weren't doing that last season. This season, they played Brighton. Better side, but for some reason, they fell asleep at the wheel. Aston Villa, for some reason, a game that they should go and win, although Villa beat them 2 seasons ago, 1-0, and then a few days later beat us 1-0 with Villa Park. The fact is, I didn't see any evidence. Obviously, I was at the Arsenal Crystal Palace game. I didn't see any evidence to say, right, City turn the corners. But they went at St James's Park because it's still a tough ground to go. Newcastle got horrendous. They're still going to be tough at their ground. They'll give them a game and a half. If City go there and win, and then they win at Goodison Park, you think, yeah, there's no margin for error. No, and that's the thing. So that's one of the reasons why we'll know more by the beginning of December what City side we got. And that's all being with Rodri's now back. Wasn't needed against Liverpool, but he's been back sparingly. He's fit. Kovacic, another player that they needed. They missed most of the season, not all season. They get that midfield right and they get energy in those legs in midfield. Yeah, they're going to be very difficult to beat. Very difficult to beat. That's why we're going to have no margin of error. But the fact is, we all drop points because simple reason is that every team, because simple reason you can't win every game, especially in our league. It's not going to happen. We have to be some sort of like elite team for us to win all those games. We should do on paper because they're all winnable, but it's not going to happen.
No.
Villa home and away in December the same month. We're not going to beat. If we beat Villa home and away, I'll rate us. But realistically, Villa got something about us because the Sunderland game showed me that we're not as infallible as we think we are because we got a test. Don't get me wrong, there's no disgrace in failing it because Sunderland put us to the sword and they played well. They deserved it to get something out of it. And if they won the game, there would be no complaints from me. Because at the end of the day, they were forced errors. They were enforced errors because of the way they played. So we just have to be realistic. But I'll say it once, say it 1,000 times. Ranieri, step up. Eze, step up. Goicoechea, step up. You know, all you players, new players, Zubimendi, lead. You do all of that. And it gives us more.
He's a step up, man.
Yeah, but yeah, because the other day, I'm bringing Odegaard back in the team without any question whatsoever. He's coming back in my team. I'm not going to leave out Trossard and play Eze there. Why? What's your Trossard lose his place?
Facts.
No, I said this the other night that Eze has left the door wide open for Odegaard to step right back in.
Yep.
Going to do some of these comments, guys, and I'm going to come to DJ. Jared, big up, mate. Greetings, guys from South Africa. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you are doing well, my friend. Thank you for joining us. Topside Hybrid says he's about to try and integrate 5-part injured players back into the starting 11. What could possibly go wrong? Yeah. Now the thing is, DJ, right? That features list, interesting. This comment. Topside Hybrid. Arsenal wanted the Everton game moved to Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
What the fuck would you want to do that for? I mean, talk about care for your fans. Going to Everton for Christmas Eve. Are you sure? How many fans would go for that? Knowing that, you know, it's 4 or 5 hours to get there, at least. And then you got to get 4 or 5 hours back. And that's coming into Christmas Day. I mean, what are we talking about here? What is going on here? But anyway, DJB, these fixtures, man, it's going to be a tough ride, isn't it?
Well, the thing is, as I said, we're not alone in the fixture congestion. The Problem is, it's how you manage it. And there's evidence in the past that the manager has not managed it very well. Hence, that's why you've had players get injured. And they've not been impact injuries, they've been muscular injuries. I mean, look at Gyökeres. Never had muscle injuries when he was playing at his old club. Comes to this club and he's got muscular injuries because of the amount of running he's having to do off the ball, and the amount of closing down he's having to do. He's having to work hard to make things happen for himself because he's not getting the supply. And the problem is when you say about our squad depth, well, Kenny mentioned it there. Kovacic to come back, Rodri to come back. Them fully fit would walk into an Arsenal team ahead of Zubimendi, without a shadow of a doubt. I'd have Kovacic alongside Rice all day long. I'd have Rodri alongside Rice all day long. So these are the things you have to look at when you're talking about squad depth and everything else. I still think we are 2 or 3 injuries away from complete disaster. We are Rice, Gabriel, and Timber away from complete disaster.
Yeah,
because we are back to the same squad we had last season. Now he's going to bring in Havertz. I agree with Kenny. If you're going to keep the captain of the Arsenal Football Club, the manager's poster boy out of this team, you have got to do all sorts of madness on that football pitch. And Eze hasn't done that. He hasn't even done enough to dislodge Trossard. So unfortunately, I know a lot of fans are not going to like this, but Eze right at this moment looks a bit of a waste of money.
It does. I agree.
He's a squad player. I know it's hard hitting, but the facts that I'm talking football terms here now. Now, if I said this on certain channels, they'd all go, "Oh, how can you say it's a waste of money?" Right? Well, at the moment, he's looking bang average. Gyökeres has looked, other than his goals, he's looked bang average. So there's still a lot of problems within this team. And when you're going into fixtures, and I said this, right, when we're looking at the team, I never look at the league table until end of January, beginning of February. That's when I start really taking notice of the league table. Now we're going into the nitty-gritty part of the season. We've got players that are not really pulling up any trees in Eze. We've got players that have been out injured for a long time that's not going to be match fit as soon as they come back. And they're going to have to be because they're going into a congested fixture list throughout December. So when they come back, they've got to hit the ground running. And they're not going to do that. Odegaard's not going to do that. It's going to
DJ, I'll ask you this. Do you not think this congested fixture list is down to all these fucking international breaks?
Well, you've always had the international breaks, Jez. I just think it's supply and demand, isn't it? I think it's just supply and demand, isn't it? I mean, the problem is it's a double-edged sword for me because if you was to think of players' welfare and cut down on the, I mean, years ago we used to kick off at 3:00, and you'd always have a midweek game. So you'd play Saturday and Tuesday. You know, that was your fixture list. Saturday, then you'd have a midweek game on a Tuesday or a Wednesday night. You know, that was the norm years ago. So the problem is players are on 280, 300 grand a week. And yet they're thinking that, you know, they want to play less games. Well, you can't have your cake and eat it. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll cut down on your games, providing you take a 50% wage cut. How about that?
Yeah, but the point I'm trying to say here.
They won't do it.
Answer this and I'll come to Kenny and I'll come to Shano, right? Right. When we used to have like World Cup qualifying, going back in the day, we'd play a World Cup qualifying game. So we'd play a game on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Midweek, there'd be a World Cup qualifying game. There'd be a game on a Saturday. It's 2 week bullshit, right? To me, I'm sorry, it's bullshit.
Yeah, it's not helping. I mean, these international breaks don't help it. I mean, like this season would have been a full fixture list if it hadn't have been for the international break and the following week. I mean, it doesn't help situations, but
it does compress the league fixtures because you got a certain amount of games.
It is, yeah. And the thing is, the big clubs shouldn't be moaning about it because the big clubs have the big squads, you know. And it's the teams like the smaller clubs have to play the same sort of schedule, and they've got smaller squads to pick from. So, and this is what I'm trying to say: you can't change the whole landscape over 4 or 5 teams that play in the Champions League because it ain't then fair on the other teams. So this is why Arsenal and Liverpool and Man City have got the big squads to cope with. They should be able to cope with the fixtures. I know it's not right and it's not ideal, but what do you do? I mean, this is where the managers earn their money. This is why they're there. This is why they've got to rotate, and this is why they've got to make sure that when they can rest players, as Shane said, against Prague and people like this, you're not keeping your best players on for 80, 90 minutes. You're rotating them. You're pulling them off as every opportunity you can. You give them players minutes because you know what's coming down the pipe. I mean, look at Declan Rice. I think 82nd minute he was pulled off against Prague, and then he's got a physical battle against Sunderland, covering Zubamendi's backside, left, right, and centre. You know, he's on for 82 minutes. The knock-on effect to that, he's tired.
The travel as well, DJ.
And this is
travel to Prague and everything as well.
This is what we're saying. Look at Timber. Look at it. Look at the minutes he's playing. Gabriel. Look how long he's been on the. You know, this is what I'm saying, and I don't want to get into this. We've got unbelievable squad depth. Hincapié and Mosquera ain't been really tested, have they, in the Premiership?
The thing is, DJ, right? I want to come to Kenny on this because I don't want this to go on for too long. Kenny, Darren's saying it quite rightly. In the 80s, there was less qualifiers, right? I mean, now we have the Nation League's bullshit, right? We have every fucking year, right? It's just more money for UEFA and FIFA.
Yes.
What is the point of it? What is the bloody point? Because all it does is put more pressure on the fixture list, more pressure on the players in the domestic leagues, cups and all that, right? I don't see the point of it, Kenny. I know you love all this.
Yeah, but the thing about it is two things. It's not just the international breaks; it's the Champions League. Having 2 extra games, 2 extra Champions League games prior to the last 16, and then a Champions League playoff, Jez, that doesn't help either. No. So the real reason why we have an extended fixture list, and the reason why we don't have a Boxing Day game, is because of the Champions League. International fixtures had nothing to do with it. It's most of the Champions League because
Boxing Day's always been Kenny.
I know it's always been.
I know you.
I would like it removed because the other day, because of simple reasons, because of the thing we're talking about, player fatigue and too many matches. I want Boxing Day, Christmas football removed on that basis. But the secondary reason is the trains. But in terms of like the Champions League,
he's on holiday, right? It's come on, right?
Yeah, but Arsenal playing Spurs though, Jez.
Be going Arsenal 30s.
I understand that, but in boxing, all right. In 1985, December 26, 1985, Arsenal played Tottenham at Highbury. Everton played Man United at Goodison Park. Liverpool played Man City at Anfield. There's not too much travel. And who knows, in 1986, 1985, there might have been trains running that day. But the fiction, before the computer, it was written on a piece of paper. Those were the fixtures. We knew it was happening. Now, we're in a situation where it gets even worse with Boxing Day fixtures because we're at the mercy of the TV. You know, Any other day, other than a Friday, Amazon had the fixtures, so they had so basically Amazon would say, right, some games are Boxing Day, some games are 27th, some days are 28th or 29th, and then on New Year's Day, Sky will have it or BT Sport will have it. So it's TV that called them that part of the problem as well. But in terms of the fixture list, the Champions League, in the end of the day, UEFA want more of the big teams. They want to see more AC Milan in it every season. They would like to see Man United, and they want games in big stadiums. Come on, Liverpool versus Real Madrid in a pre-knockout stage? Really? You never saw that. But UEFA want more stadium games with more receipts,
coming, Kenny, isn't
it? And bigger TV money. So we are what we want. And it's the players as well. They want $500,000 a week. So we've got to have more competitions in order to pay them the money. That's the nature of the beast. It all comes down to one thing. It's never going to be fair. But the problem is that there's going to be more and more games. So medical departments have to be better. Sports scientists have to do more research in order to help us cope with the fixtures, diets, rest and recuperation. That's the future now in football. The fair player is a nonsense, is a myth. It's the athlete now. We got what we wanted. We wanted football, wall-to-wall football. We're getting it now. Are we happy?
I think it's for the wrong, personally. I think.
And it's just one more thing, quick one. Before, let's not forget, European Championships and World Cups are now having more teams, longer tournaments, more TV money. Unfortunately, if you're going to allow a lot of these teams to get into these competitions, you have to get them match fit for these tournaments. Hence the League of Nations, competition football. It's the way of the world now.
Well, okay, I hear you. You're not going to change my mind on it personally, but I hear your point about Boxing Day, because it always used to be, cities like London. It would be games all around London. Liverpool, Man United, up that way, Man City, Everton. I hear you, because that meant the fans didn't have to travel silly miles to go and see a game. I hear you on that one. That, I think, is the influence too much of Sky TV. But Shano, I think, give me your view on this, mate. I think the fixture list now is just far too congested.
Yeah, it's massive. And internationals, I used to love internationals as well. A lot of people think they're a bit of a chore now. I know Kenny loves them. I don't mind them. I used to love them. We discussed this before, when it was, in the 80s and 90s and the 70s, when you'd get to see teams that you wouldn't normally see. I think we're so saturated with football now. I always remember World Cup 90. I know it was World Cup 70 for you, Jez. For me, it was World Cup 90 when I saw all these Valderrama and all these guys. And then international football was that, even in Europe, even when you were getting France in the 70s and 80s, and you get to see Platini on your TV, or you get to see that great Polish team, stuff like that. I think, it's been saturated now. And I do understand, Kenny's got a point. Like, we can't really begrudge internationals and then enjoy a World Cup. It is all part of it. But as someone said in the chat, there's a lot more nations now, a hell of a lot more nations now than there ever was. There's 200 something now, I think, that are contending with it. The problem is that they've made the World Cup too big. It all comes back to money. Every bit of it comes back to TV rights, money. And then if the players weren't so greedy, then they wouldn't have to play so many games. You know what I mean? If they, like Kenny said, if they weren't on 300, 400 grand a week, then they wouldn't need to keep filling out stadiums. They wouldn't need new tournaments.
Now go in the World Cup. How many teams this year?
40 something, I think, in it, 42 or something like that, I think.
Is it 64 total?
Or is it 64 it's gone to now, is it?
Yeah, the World Cup 64, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what that was either the aim, or they have got it. But that's just crazy to me. The 32 should always be the World Cup. I think the top 16 teams in the world should qualify. But then you have they're not playing competitive football in the lead up to it. That was always the issue with the holders qualifying or the host nation.
As it stands here right now, the Faroe Islands might be qualifying next year for the fucking World Cup.
Yeah.
The Faroe Islands.
There is something about that though, Jez. There is something to be said that is quite good in a way that they do, but it also shows how the standard will be so dramatically different. I can see them going with it almost like a Champions League format at some point. Have two sides of 32 going at each other, and the top 16s go through.
Anything to make more money, Shay. Anything to make
it's
more
all about money.
But
it always comes back to more money every time.
But there's history as well. One thing we've forgotten. Let's look at the landscape. Let's look at the World Cup in 1990. And then let's look at the World Cups afterwards. We've had Yugoslavia. It's been broken into about 4 countries.
6, I think. 6.
Soviet Union's been broken into, how many countries? I'm not counting the number of countries.
Yeah. Georgia,
but let's just think about Yugoslavia, Serbia, Croatia, Slovenia,
Bosnia,
Macedonia.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All those countries, 4 countries. That's why we're getting an increased World Cup, because Europe, because of the collapse of of communism, the collapse of like I said, especially around Eastern and Central Europe, all these countries are now getting a new. Look at Czechoslovakia, Czech Republic, Slovakia, 2 countries.
Yeah.
Belarus, all that lot.
So that's why you get a big World Cup, because Belarus, Russia, Ukraine.
Yeah,
we're getting all of them now.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but
guys,
they could still streamline it though, Kenny. They could streamline it better. I mean, it all comes back to money. Yeah, but Dave, if these presidents want votes, they've got to make sure they keep these small nations sweet. Yeah,
and they need money. They need money.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I mean, I've got a theory on it. We talked about it once before, how we could get round this. I personally think my idea was brilliant, but I'm going to say that. But anyway, we're going to wrap it up, people.
Sorry, everyone.
Sorry about the shit start. Nothing to do with me. StreamYard, I've got this whole new system.
Yeah, I had it earlier. Just dogged out.
It's a pile of shit. And I do apologise for that. So I'm apologise for keeping these gentlemen here too long. Shano, as always, my friend, thank you for joining me. It's been a privilege as always. Tomorrow morning it will be the morning Irish breakfast, which I do try and catch it. I don't get it always, but shout out when you're coming down, mate.
Yeah, big up for having me on as always. An absolute pleasure. I really enjoyed it. Big up to DJB and Kenny Ken, of course, and the amazing chat. Yeah, I'll be back for the full Irish tomorrow. What day's tomorrow? Wednesday, and then I'll have clean through with views later in the day, and then I think I'm on Normsky on his channel, and then obviously the Bruised Banana Thursday night, and Off Topic has been moved to Friday night this week at 7:00. We will be discussing the greatest dynasties in club football history, so the Ajax team in the 70s and stuff like that. So
I'm looking forward to that. Kenny Ken, as always, it's always a pleasure streaming with you, my friend.
Thank you very much.
Got a quick question for you.
Yes.
You said last night you got this picture of me as a rocker. Where the hell did you get that from?
You showed it to us.
Oh,
you showed it to us.
I did. Sorry.
You showed it to us.
Sorry. I thought somehow you'd take the.
No.
Yeah, you on Lee's stream. He showed it, didn't he?
I did.
He showed it in the stream, but yeah.
Thanks, I nicknamed you Jez Ferrari.
Kenny, as always, mate. Where can we find you? Shout out your Instagram,
Kenny Ken 1972. Got a podcast in about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
No, 8 minutes, and then it's just looking forward to the boxing this weekend. I'm going back to White Hart Lane, the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and watch some boxing, and it's got a better build. Yeah, because I'll say you one thing, right? We missed a trick, but I'm glad we did miss a trick, because I think football stadiums should be that only. Got respect for the financial situation, But unfortunately, I don't believe in the football stadiums holding concerts and holding rugby matches or American football matches. I just don't believe in it. But
No, I agree.
no complaints. If that's going to put more money in a fighter's pocket, then I'm all for it. But
why do you think we're extending our stadium, Kenny?
Yep.
Because the owners want American football. They want to do what Spurs are doing.
Yeah, and rightly so. But Islington Council, they need to make sure they get licenses, because Islington Council were holding Arsenal back and costing Arsenal pennies. We could have had enough. We should have enough boxing matches at the Emirates, but Islington Council won't give promoters a late license.
Fair enough. I agree with you on that one. I agree with you on that. DJB, it's always a great pleasure, my friend. Thank you.
No problem, mate. Always a pleasure. The Dole Square was good and everything. Always a pleasure to share with Kenny and Shane and everything. Got a podcast coming up. And then what have I got? I'm off. I've moved the mingle from tomorrow to Friday. Me and Nomsky just doing a quick mingle. And then Thursday I've got a podcast going on, and that's really about it until the Sunday night. So big up to everyone, big up to the chat, and thank you very much as always for having me on, Jez. Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
Big up my friends. Big up my friends.
Well, guys, we're going to wrap it up there. I just say once again, I do apologise to the start. It's nothing to do with me. We've all had problems with this bloody new system that StreamYard have brought in. It's an absolute shit show. They don't tell us what's going on, and it happens like that. But at the moment, I'm very excited about my purchase and very proud of it. And I don't think you'll never ever see another one, ever somewhere. But I was lucky on that one. But we're going to get out of here, do the outro, people. And Arsenal, you fucked up on that one, mate. I would have loaned it to you if you hadn't been such a bunch of prats. But there you go. Never mind. That's life. Take care, people. Have a great
Big up, guys.
And see you all later.